Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to Adventure Built. My name is Kelly.
I'm Trevor.
And today we're back in the shop doing a dual battery install on Trev's 4RUNNER, the Genesis Off-Road dual battery system. Stay tuned.
Back at Overland Expo West, I had picked up a Genesis dual battery system and I had installed it in July. So fast forward 8 months later, I've been having a little squeaking in there and we tore out the whole battery system trying to figure out what was causing the squeaking. And I think we found it. My own mistake. I messed up one of the, what are those called?
Riv nuts.
Riv nuts on the install. So that got loosened up. I think that's what's causing the squeaking. So what I figured we can do, since we pulled the whole thing out anyway,
We did.
might as well show you guys how it's installed and what it's about.
Starting with replacing a cross-threaded riv nut.
Start there.
Let's start there. Before we get into this, hit that subscribe button, hit like, leave a comment, do it now. We'll wait, by all means.
I got nothing but time.
Time for high five.
What?
How many good ideas do I have every day, bro?
Just one. Just
One
a
good
day.
idea per day. It was it, just now. What Trev's working on is he actually, when he was putting his dual battery setup in, it comes with a dual battery tray. When he was putting riv nuts into this little tray above the fender, he actually messed one of them up, he cross-threaded it, and then it loosened the riv nut up.
There's that cross thread. That's a little bit of an angle
That's
there.
a lot of cross-threading.
That's a lot of cross thread.
That
right
is
there.
why you don't cross-thread, especially a riv nut, because it will just make that riv nut spin. So what we did is we had to cut the head of the bolt off to get the bracket out. And then I had the great idea of, instead of trying to drill out the riv nut or anything, we just score the head of the riv nut and it will just fall through the bottom. We can pull it out the bottom and then we can put a new riv nut in. So, crisis averted. You're welcome, bro.
Thanks, bro.
Yeah.
So bro. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Black light down! Is that gonna stay there?
I don't know. We'll see. All right. Hey, so bro, what kind of shoes you wearing? What kind of shoes you wearing?
Crackly ones.
Yeah, they're like tap shoes.
Crackly shoes. I don't know. I'm walking on Rice Krispie treats right now. So step one for this process is going to be mounting the plate, which would include riv nuts. And this is my riv nut tool, although being in this back corner here, it's gonna be really hard to do. So I'm gonna try it. I don't know if it's gonna work or not.
I did not have a riv nut tool when I did this.
No, because you're not that cool. I don't think it's gonna work. That might have worked. Hey, I think it worked.
All right. This is the Genesis Off-Road battery tray. It is a steel tray, extremely heavy duty. It has a cool engraving of, or cutout of their logo and everything on there. And the top hat actually bolts on, so you don't have those weird J hooks or anything to worry about. It bolts into the bottom with the 4 mounts. Let's get it in. After you put the mount into place, make sure that you bolt it in with the supplied bolts. There are a few factors when you're initially putting this thing in. I've already done all of the prep work and everything in, but a couple things to remember is that the batteries, when they go in, are extremely heavy. And so you have to place the mount inside, put the batteries in, make sure it's all fitting left, right, forward and back, and then remove the batteries without moving the mount, so that way you can know the positions that you need to drill the holes to put the riv nuts into. It could be very precarious. Having a buddy there will help, Another point is the AC line. The AC line is really close to the batteries when they're in place, and it has to be bent out to the side. That is made of aluminum. However, I swear it is the toughest aluminum I have ever tried to bend, because it took me putting in a piece of wood, it was a handle from an axe, to be able to get enough torque to bend it out of the way. I don't know, maybe I need to go to the gym more.
Yeah, he does. Yeah. And also, if you don't have a buddy to help you, have a brother who's mechanically inclined and willing to help.
You're welcome. With this battery tray, it's really cool because in place of one stock battery, you can actually fit 2 Group 25 batteries. Now, it can be any Group 25 batteries. I went with the Odyssey Extremes. They seem to get the best reviews across the board. So, tons of power. Shouldn't have any issue with my winch, fridge, all my accessory lights, and everything else that are on my rig.
Like a glove.
Like a toiga. Besides the innovation of having 2 batteries in place of 1, Genesis Offroad has this amazing piece of hardware. So on one plate, which is also the top cover of the batteries, you have a smart isolator, which will automatically choose which battery it's pulling from. So you have an accessory battery and a starter battery. When using accessories, the battery is going to start dropping in voltage. And at a certain point, it can go over to the starter battery and start drawing down from the starter battery. However, it will automatically shut it off once it gets to a certain voltage on the starter battery, so it will not kill the starter battery. Vice versa, when the starter battery for some reason drops down to where it's dead, say an old battery or something like that, you can use the accessory battery with the push of a button here to jump your starter battery. So this gives you a peace of mind that you cannot drain all of these batteries down all the way and not be able to start the vehicle and get home. And plus it has the logo again. Within the top plate, the kit already has terminals connected for the additional positive and negative. And then on this side, you have positive and negative leads that connect to the existing terminals. The Genesis Offroad has really cool terminals on the top for accessories. As you can see here, I have a ground. This is for my anytime forward-facing camera. And then this is for the power to the S-Pod. So you can either mount it to the top if you have a large terminal, or to these small rings that go around, positive and negative, and then you have a cover to cover up the positive just to keep it safe from shorting anything out. Connecting all the ground wires from the tray onto the ground terminal, then making sure the accessory things are all tightened down from when I took things off, and then putting the ground in. Now just carefully tighten up all the connections without creating a short. This is how everything looks all connected with accessories and everything. You have your main vehicle positive that connects to the solenoid, which changes everything around, and then it goes to your accessory terminals here and to the starter battery positive. This is your factory negative, which connects to the negative terminals, and then over to the accessory negative. Here I have my winch lines coming in to positive and negative. I have my positive coming in from my S-Pod, and my negative coming in for the camera for anytime camera. So right now, that's all I have connected onto the battery, because most of my accessories and everything else, lighting, all goes through my S-Pod source. However, when I get my full-time power to the rear, I'm going to be running it off of this, and I also want to put in a air compressor mounted full-time, and it'll be mounted off the batteries as well. And that's it.
All right, let's get an honest opinion about your Genesis off-road dual battery setup.
It's been 8 months, 0 faults or anything on it, besides a squeak, which to me, I'm pretty sure it's that Riv nut. That's what it's called. And or it's the extreme tight fit and it's rubbing on the cab. Not 100% sure. We'll see after driving it a while longer if it's still squeaking, but it's good to have that fixed so that way the batteries have a solid base for sure. And yeah, it's been a great system. It's very easy to install-ish as long as you don't mess up the Riv nut.
Would you suggest it to people?
Yeah, I absolutely would suggest it. The only other options out there is having the dual batteries in a separate location, and it's cool, but it's just more intensive of an install, where this is literally all in the same spot. So I think it's a lot easier, and especially with that top plate pre-wired, I mean, you just throw it on there and connect the battery ports. It's pretty easy.
Probably the easiest thing we've ever done on his truck.
Probably,
yeah. And I've also heard that people that have dual battery setups that are really far away, you actually lose voltage with a long run of wire. So
yeah, you have to do different gauges depending on how far the accessory battery is away from the original battery, something like that. I remember doing the research and I was like, it's a pain. I went with Genesis.
And I have no dual battery setup right now, so I'm still in the market. If anyone has any better ideas than the Genesis off-road dual battery system,
leave them in the comments below if you got any ideas.
Leave them in the comments if you got some ideas. All right, guys. Well, thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you next time.
Peace.